Caterpillar dealers don't want you to know this repair secret. You bought the machine. A yellow Caterpillar excavator sits in your yard, paid for in full, your name on the title. And yet the moment a fault code lights up that dash, you discover something nobody mentioned at the sales table. You do not actually control the brain inside it. The dealer does. The repair secret in this video is not a magic unlock code, and I am going to be honest with you about that from the start. The secret is something the dealer would rather you never connect the dots on, because once you understand how the gate works, you stop paying a premium out of pure fear. Let me show you exactly where the wall is, and where it is thinner than they want you to believe. Walk into the cab of a modern CAT machine and look at the electronic control module bolted behind the panel. That little box, the engine control module, runs the engine and the hydraulics and the emissions hardware. To talk to it properly, you need a piece of software called Caterpillar Electronic Technician, which most people in the trade just call CAT-ET. CAT-ET plugs into the diagnostic port and reads live data, fault codes, sensor values, the whole nervous system of the machine. Here is the part dealers stay quiet about. That software exists, and independent shops can and do run it. It is not locked inside a dealership vault that only one priesthood can open. The wall is real, but it is built in a very specific spot, and knowing the spot is the whole game. The first thing to understand is the difference between reading the machine and reprogramming the machine. Reading fault codes, watching sensor data, even clearing a lot of basic faults that is broadly accessible with the diagnostic software and the right cable. The hard gate sits at the deeper settings. Caterpillar uses something called factory passwords to protect certain engine control module parameters, things like the full load setting on a fuel system, and to clear certain logged events. Those passwords are generated per machine, and the official path runs through an authorized Caterpillar dealer who confirms the request before releasing them. That is the actual lock, not the whole machine, one specific drawer inside it. So when a dealer hints that only they can touch your equipment, what they are really doing is letting you believe the drawer is the entire toolbox. A good independent diesel technician can hook up to your CAT machine, pull the codes, diagnose a failing injector or a bad sensor or a clogged emissions component, and fix the vast majority of what goes wrong, all without ever needing the dealer at all. The fear is the product. The fear is what keeps you driving the machine 40 miles to the dealer service bay and paying their posted shop rate instead of calling the guy 2 towns over who charges half. If you want to watch how the equipment giants lock you out of your own machines, subscribe to QuiSoup. If you are watching on your TV, find QuiSoup and hit subscribe there. Now I want to talk about parts, because this is where the gate gets crossed by thousands of operators every single day, quietly, without permission slips. Caterpillar sells genuine parts through its dealer network, and on a manufacturer's suggested retail price basis, those dealers set the actual counter price themselves. The number on a genuine water pump or a genuine final drive can make a fleet owner physically wince. But here's the open secret the parts counter will never volunteer. A massive aftermarket parts industry exists for CAT machines. Companies build will-fit components, pistons, bearings, camshafts, undercarriage, water pumps, nozzles, made to original equipment specifications, and they sell them for a fraction of the dealer counter price. Cross-reference catalogs match the aftermarket part to the original CAT part number. None of this is illegal. None of it voids your ownership. There is a federal warranty law on the books, the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, that bars a manufacturer from voiding your warranty just because you used an independent part or an independent shop, unless they can prove that part actually caused the failure. The parts counter will not bring that law up. The dealer simply prefers you do not know how deep that market runs, or how much the law already protects your right to walk away from their counter. This is the same fight that has been playing out in the tractor world for years, and it is worth understanding because the construction equipment story is the next chapter of the exact same book. John Deere became the public face of lockdown equipment. Farmers found that a tractor with a blown sensor could be driven into a digital coma, unable to run, until a Deere technician arrived with the authorized laptop and the blessing to reactivate it. Farmers were watching ripe crops rot in the field while they waited on a dealer service truck. That anger did not stay on the farm. It went to state houses, and it went to Washington. In May of 2021, the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, published a report to Congress called Nixing the Fix. That report looked hard at the excuses manufacturers use to block independent repair. Manufacturers claimed repair restrictions were about safety. The FTC found scant evidence for that. Manufacturers claimed it was about cybersecurity, about protecting the software. The FTC found no real evidence that independent shops were any more dangerous with diagnostics and firmware than the authorized ones. The agency said plainly that some of these repair restrictions could even run afoul of antitrust law. A federal agency looked at the lockout machine and called the justifications mostly hollow. Then the dam started to crack in the law itself. In January of 2023, at the American Farm Bureau Federation Convention, the Farm Bureau and John Deere signed a memorandum of understanding on repair. Deere agreed that farmers would get access to the codes and the data from an individual machine, that the information could be passed to an independent repair shop with the owner's permission, and that owners could buy diagnostic tools directly from Deere. It sounded like a win, but read the fine print. The access only had to come on, quote, fair and reasonable terms, and those terms expressly allowed Deere to charge a fee or a subscription. And in exchange, the Farm Bureau agreed to discourage its members from pushing right-to-repair laws. The manufacturer gave a little to take the legislative pressure off. That is the deal that was actually struck. Some states refused to take the deal. In April of 2023, Colorado became the first state in the country to pass a right-to-repair law specifically for agricultural equipment. Governor Polis signed it, and it took effect on the first day of 2024. The law forces equipment manufacturers to hand owners and independent repair providers the parts, the embedded software, the firmware, the tools, and the documentation needed to actually fix the machine. Not a watered-down memorandum that a company can rewrite at will. A statute. The first real crack in the wall. And it came for tractors first, which means the heavy iron is squarely in the line of sight next. Here's where the gate gets more subtle, and more modern, and frankly, more uncomfortable. Telematics. Caterpillar machines carry a hardware system called Product Link, and the data flows up into a subscription platform called Vision Link. On paper, it sells productivity, location tracking, fuel usage, idle hours, machine health alerts pushed to a fleet manager once a day, or once a minute, or in real time. Useful. Genuinely. But understand what it also is. It is a live feed off your machine, and the dealer sits inside that data stream. The dealer can see your fault codes, your hours, your usage patterns, sometimes before you have even walked out to the cab. That visibility is exactly what lets a service department call you first, frame the repair on their terms, and steer you back into the bay. The machine is quietly reporting to the people who want to sell you the fix. And the older the machine gets, the more this matters, because Caterpillar offers Product Link devices that bolt onto older CAT assets, and even mixed fleets of other brands, pulling everything into one dealer-friendly dashboard. The pitch is simplicity. The result is that one company sees the health of every machine on your job site, and you start to feel like checking the data without their platform is somehow off limits. It is not. Quick break, before we get into what happened next. If you have been on this channel for a while, watching how the dealers tighten the screws, there is a way to make sure you do not miss what is coming. Join the operator tier for $4.99 a month. You get badges that mark you as a working professional in the comments section, custom emoji to call out the corporate decisions that killed CAT, and you get every video 24 hours before the rest of the internet. To join, open your phone and search Quisoup membership, or go to the channel page and tap join. Join the operators and engineers who are paying attention. Now, back to it. So let me give you the honest map of what the secret actually buys you, because I refuse to sell you a fantasy. You can pull your own fault codes with the right diagnostic setup. You can run an independent technician who knows CAT ET. You can buy aftermarket parts at a fraction of dealer counterpricing and cross-reference them by part number. You can rebuild a great deal of that machine on your own terms. What you cannot always do is bypass every factory password-protected parameter or reflash every locked calibration without an authorized path, and anyone selling you a guaranteed universal unlock for everything is selling smoke. The real secret is that the gate is narrow, not total. The dealer profits from you believing it is total. Think about why this design even exists, because it tells you who the company is built for now. A machine that phones home, parts that flow through one priced channel, software gates that funnel deep work back to the service bay. That is not an engineer's idea of a good machine. That is a finance department's idea of a good revenue stream. It is the Boeing pattern wearing yellow paint, Build a great product, then slowly turn the customer into a subscriber who pays rent on something they already own. The engineers who built Caterpillar's reputation were not dreaming up ways to lock a farmer out of his own loader. The people counting the recurring parts and service margin were. Here is the question I want you to sit with and fight about in the comments. If a company sells you a $400,000 machine and then uses software and parts gates to keep charging you rent on the right to fix it, do you actually own that machine? Or are you just leasing your own equipment back from the dealer forever? Tell me in the comments. The movement is moving in your direction, even if it is slow. The FTC said the excuses are thin. Colorado wrote the first real law. More states are circling the same idea, and the heavy construction segment is the obvious next target once the tractor precedent is locked in. After Colorado, the same idea kept spreading, with other states drafting their own versions of farm equipment, repair bills, and consumer groups pushing the language toward construction and industrial machines. The independent repair ecosystem is not some underground operation. It is a real industry, full of skilled diesel technicians and serious parts suppliers running cross-reference catalogs and rebuild shops, and it grows every time another operator gets burned by a dealer quote and decides to find out what else is possible. Every aftermarket water pump sold, every independent shop that learns the diagnostic software, every farmer who fixes his own machine and tells the operator next to him, all of it chips at the wall. The secret was never a code. The secret is that you have more options than they ever wanted you to count. One more thing before you go. If you really want to be part of the inner circle on this channel, join the site Foreman for $9.99 a month. You get a public shout-out in upcoming videos. Your name, your operation, your story, validated in front of the entire QuiSoup audience, plus everything from the operator tier. To join, open your phone and search QuiSoup Membership, or go to the channel page and tap Join. And remember, the day independent repair becomes a guaranteed legal right on heavy iron, the dealer service department as we know it stops being a gatekeeper and starts being just one option among many. See you in the next one.